Hi everyone, Jai Hind and welcome to the platform of Study IQ IAS in English. My name is Bhavar Singh Sirohi. I'm ex-NDA 115th course and qualified civil services in 2012. And I welcome you on the platform. In this session, we'll be talking about Mulla Periyar Dam. Now, why it is a news that we'll be talking about and diving in later on. But first of all, it is important to know what is the bone of contention between two states, that is Kerala and Tamil Nadu, when it comes to the Mulla Periyar Dam that is there. Now, this is what we are talking about. It is a paradox, or you can say that it is a geopolitical paradox, where the dam is physically located in Kerala. That is in the district that is bordering that is at the border of Kerala and Tamil Nadu, and this dam is located in Idukki. At the same time, this dam is legally leased as well as operated and maintained by Tamil Nadu. So this is a paradox where the dam is located in Kerala, but it is maintained, not owned, leased, and also it is used by Tamil Nadu government. Over here, there are asymmetric risk and the rewards when it comes to Mulla Periyar Dam. Because when it comes to the reward, actually this dam, the core structural anomaly over here is that it separates the direct benefits of the complete river Periyar. Now over here, actually this dam is important for the irrigation purpose of the Tamil Nadu, especially when it comes to the dry district of Tamil Nadu. But at the same time, when it comes to the risk or the hazard which are there, in the event of the structural collapse of the dam, it is the life or the risk of the people that are there in the Kerala that will be impacted from this damage. And that is why this is a bone of contention between both the states, whether it is Tamil Nadu or the Kerala, because Tamil Nadu wants this dam so that it can irrigate the dry districts of Tamil Nadu. But at the same time, the Kerala, it objects about the dam, the structure, because the life of the people of Kerala that is at risk when it comes to this particular dam. Now over here you can see that this dam is where it is located. It is in Idukki district and this is Mulla Periyar Dam. Now when it comes to the Periyar river, it is basically the west flowing river. It flows towards west and ultimately this dam was constructed so that the river water, it could be diverted to the eastern side. So the east diversion was created by the dam, that is the Mulla Periyar Dam, that was constructed on the Periyar River. Now over here, what will happen? Right now, it is irrigating the people of or the dry district that is there in Tamil Nadu. But in the event of collapse, the water will not move towards east, obviously. So it will move towards the western side where the river is flowing, and ultimately that will have the major or the structural impact on the Idukki reservoir as well. And also there are the lives of the people of the Kerala that would be at risk because of this. Now, when it comes to the origin of the Mulla Periyar Dam, you can see that basically there was a lease that was signed, and this was signed in 1886. Now, this was signed between Vishakam Thirunal, Maharaja of Travancore, and the British Secretary of State, which have leased the 8,000 acres for the 999 years, and it was designed so that the Periyar's river water, it could be diverted towards the eastern side, relieving the catastrophic droughts which were there in Madurai. So this is where the asymmetrical, we are talking about the colonial instrument that was signed in 1886 that have transitioned directly into our post constitutional state structure that we are seeing right now between Tamil Nadu and Kerala that is there. Now, over here, it is very important that when it comes to this dam, so there is the fear of an impending disaster that will be due to the structural age of the dam. Now, let me tell you that this dam is more than 130 years of age, and there is high seismicity as well because this region, it lies in zone 3. And ultimately, there is demand of decommissioning of the aging structure and construction of the new dam, guaranteeing continued water supply to Tamil Nadu as well. So over here, it is very important that the Kerala is not stopping the Tamil Nadu from using the water. It just wants that the dam should be maintained properly and there should be decommissioning and the making of the new dam in its place as well. Now, over here, it is very important that when it comes to the dam, so ultimately Tamil Nadu relies on this dam for irrigation of more than 2.3 lakh acres of the farmland that is located in 5 of the dry districts of Tamil Nadu. That is Madurai, Ramanathapuram, Theni, Dindigul and Shivaganga as well. And there are demands raising the full reservoir level or FRL back to its peak, that is 152 feet for the maximum storage of the water. But now this is very important, because ultimately, if the barrage or the dam is at its FRL or the full reservoir level, so what happens is that there is very less space that is there for absorbing the excess of the water in the event of heavy rainfall. And we know that this is the era of the climate change that we are talking about, and that could risk the collapsing of the dam ultimately, and that is the concern that the Kerala has right now. Now, when it comes to this dam, it also has structure and the seismic risk, because when it comes to the engineering, so it was constructing using the surkhi, that is composed of limestone, clay, brick dust, and mortar. And ultimately, it has a structural, or when it was constructed, its lifespan was planned for 50 years. And I told you that the complete age had been more than 130 years. There's also seismic zone alignment, where this lies at or in this seismic zone 3, where we have the fault line that is also there. So there is, or there could be structural leakage or the concrete leaching and recurring low intensity micro tremors that increase the failure risk of this dam as well. Now, there is the cascading scenario if the failure would have been there. So the water will dump directly into the downstream Idukki dam that I have shown you on the map. And ultimately, that will threaten the lives of more than 3.5 million peoples in mid-Kerala. And there is UN warning as well that was, that was there in 2021, where the UN have listed this in a report as a primary global example of the aging dams which are posing as a catastrophic threats to the lives of the people. So you can see once again, that this is where we have Mullaperia Dam. And if it collapses, the water will move directly towards the Idukki Reservoir, threatening the lives of the people over here. As well as you can see over here that this is where this is the fault line that is located. This is the Peria fault, and here we have the dam that is constructed, and we have known when it comes to the earthquake. So the man-made earthquakes, especially when the dams had constructed over the fault lines, so they could pose a very serious risk, as it happened during the Koyana earthquake that struck India in the past as well. And you can see the seismicity zone as well, because when it comes to this region, it lies in seismic zone 3, again increasing the risk of the aging dam that is there. Now, there was a Supreme Court intervention when it comes to the dam. It was in the year 2006 that Supreme Court allowed raising the water level to 142 feet. But ultimately, over here, what had happened was the Kerala government responded with the act. There was Irrigation and Water Conservation Amendment Act, which capped the water limit at 136 feet. Then what happened was in 2014, the Supreme Court struck down the Kerala's Amendment Act that was there, which capped the water limit to 136 feet. And there was 5-judge bench which declared that this law is unconstitutional and established a permanent supervisory committee to monitor the safety operations daily. Then it was in 2022 that interim shift was there to the national authority, and there was a new authority that was created, that is National Dam Safety Authority, to assume the functional powers of the Supreme Court appointed supervisory committee as well. So ultimately, when it comes to the June or the right now, why this had been in news, so there had been a unilateral nominative shift when it comes to the committee or the National Dam Safety Authority. It has removed Kerala's representative and former CWC or the Central Water Commission Chief Engineer T.K. Shivarajan from the 5-member Comprehensive Dam Safety Evaluation Committee, which is tasked for the inspection of the dam. Now, over here, it was cited by the center that the member that is, T.K. Shivarajan, he has cited the personal reason, and that is why he has resigned. But the state government of Kerala, it has said that ultimately the state was not taken into consideration. They were not informed about this. And he had been replaced by Professor M.L. Sharma, who is a seismologist specialist from IIT Roorkee. So there had been a formal protest by the Kerala government. And ultimately, there was no state consultation declaring that the state carrying the complete threat risk must retain its override or the direct oversight, nominee that should have been there in the committee. And that is why Mullaperia Dam had been in news recently. So now when it comes to the complete architecture, so there had been the Dam Safety Act that was passed in 2021, which had established the national body or the NDSA that provides the regulatory standards and even It resolves the interstate regulatory disputes and maintain the countrywide safety parameters for the specified dams which are there. There is the CDSEC, and ultimately that is the Comprehensive Dam Safety Evaluation Committee, which executes various studies, multidimensional structural audits, rule curve monitoring, and the seismic analysis as well. And also, this challenges the federal setup because the act have sweeping provision which overrides the state specific acts. Also, over here, it centralizes the dispute management and structural evaluation mandates as well when it comes to the river water disputes or the dams which are located. Now, over here, you can see that this is the complete structure of the NDSA, where we have chairman, then we have the member, which is responsible for policy and research, technical member, regulation. Then we have member for disaster and resilience, and the administration and finance member as well. Then we have the different regional offices, which we have for the northern, we have in the Chandigarh, then in the eastern and northeastern, we have in Guwahati. And for western regional, we have it located in Pune. And for the southern regional, it is located in Chennai. So this is the complete evolution of the safety frameworks when it comes to the dam and the other aspects. So in 1979, when it comes to Mullaperiyar Dam, there were the emergency repair mandates under the Central Water Commission. And ultimately, the water levels, they were capped at 136 feet. But then Tamil Nadu went and approached the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court permitted the raising of the water to 142 feet in 2006, where Kerala government responded with the Legislative Conservative Act. Thereby, in 2014, the 5-judge constitutional bench established a permanent supervisory committee and declared the law that was passed by Kerala as unconstitutional. And there is, between 2021-26, you can see that there was creation of an NDSA under the Dam Safety Act of 2021, shifting the daily oversight to the central bodies. And this is how the complete issue have evolved over a period of time. So that would be all in this session. I hope that now you have a complete idea why the Mullaperiyar Dam had been in news and what are the basic problems when it comes to Mullaperiyar Dam, and also when it comes to the events, how the different events have moved through the timeline. So that would be all in this video. Thank you very much, guys, for joining me over here. I will see you in the next, but till then, please take care of yourself. And also, if you are preparing for civil services, let me tell you that today is the last day for enrolling, or we can say that it is the batch that is starting today. So this is the last day that you do not miss any of the classes and you enroll into the batch that is GS Foundation batch P2I resolution batch for English medium. And over here, you can use the code that is BRS Live for the maximum discount that you will get on the platform of Study IQ. That would be all in this session. But at the same time, do not forget to like the session. Do comment in the section as well. And also, do share this session with your friends who are preparing for civil services. And also, do subscribe if you have not subscribed it yet. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care and Jai Hind.